Hello and welcome to Pro Home Inc.'s Housing Counseling Corner, where each month we produce a short video discussing different topics such as home buying, housing counseling, and financial literacy. I'm Paul Chase, the Managing Director for Pro Home, here with Program Manager Terry Arruda, along with Executive Producer Leslie Rhoda. Before we begin, I'd like to remind our viewers that the opinions expressed are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of Pro Home Inc. Also, this program is for entertainment purposes only, and you should always consider contacting Pro Home directly at 508-824-2514 when it comes to your specific real estate and counseling needs. So let's get started today. We will be discussing financial scams that target older adults. And welcome back, Terry.
Welcome, Paul.
Yeah,
Back.
thanks. We were at a Council on Aging event yesterday, and a lot of this was coming up, and there were a lot of folks that were interested in some of the paperwork that we were giving away. So I thought it was a good idea to do a quick video on this to see, to kind of give people an idea of what's out there. There's a lot of conversation about how scams are targeting older people nowadays, and I think it's just important for people to have an awareness, right?
There's certainly a lot of it out there, right?
Yeah, I mean, and even like when we talk about a couple of them that we've seen recently or that are being highlighted, that doesn't necessarily mean that some form of that is not happening or something different even, right? Seems like these scammers are getting smarter and smarter all the time.
They sure are.
So you have to be, the general rules we're going to talk about will apply to most of them. Right.
Very helpful for a lot of the people.
Yeah. So, over at Pro Home, we do one-on-one counseling with all types of folks, but we also hear some of these issues. And some of the scams that particularly hit homeowners or older adults tend to be like, so one is contractor fraud. And contractor fraud can mean anything from someone that is preying on an older adult that gives them an estimate on a job to someone that requires the money up front. We all know that type of stuff, and so I guess one of the things we have to talk about when it comes to contractor fraud is you want to make sure the person you're dealing with is legitimate, right?
Correct.
So while there are contractors that will hire people to do door-to-door sales, that does happen. It's not as common than we think. So I would say that whenever there's a door-to-door sale, you always have to kind of have your antennas up, so to speak.
Be more mindful.
Yeah.
Are they legit or?
Right, and the way to figure that out is to take the information and do nothing then, because scammers are always trying to get you to take care of something on the spot, right? That's their thing. If they don't keep a hold of you, then they're afraid they won't get back to you, or you'll do some kind of research. So always be aware of someone that's knocking on your door and wants to do contract work, like say for instance a driveway or your front porch or painting, right? I'm willing to paint it. I'm willing to paint it for X amount. If you want to write me a check now, I'll be back next week with the supplies. Never do that.
Well, they'll usually say, "I'll need it for the supplies."
Right.
To get started on the job.
That's always a question mark right there, right? It always is. What I say is any type of contractor case, and that also includes all the way up to the most serious. Now, there have been circumstances where they will isolate an older adult, maybe a single person that has a home that has a lot of updating to be done, but that single person doesn't have the money, and they explain to them about how reverse mortgages work. They can take money out on their house, and they could be the legal agent by just signing over this power of attorney. They'll get the money for them, and then they can get it fixed up. It all sounds good, but
and they don't have any cost to worry about.
Yeah, but there isn't a contractor that I know of.
No.
And I'm pretty, I'm always leery about saying no one, but I don't know of one contractor that is going to be your legal agent and ask you to sign a power of attorney in order to receive a reverse mortgage so they can get paid.
Right. The best way to probably to get somebody that's legit is to talk to family and friends.
Right.
See who has a good record.
Exactly. You know, ask around, ask your local chamber of commerce.
Yes.
You know, depending on what area you're in, or, I mean, you know, even older adults are on Facebook half the time, right?
Yeah.
So I'm always going on Facebook saying, hey, looking to have some painting done, or I need a
Yeah.
driveway asphalted. Who do you recommend? And then, you know, you look at your friends when they, you know, I don't look at someone that I don't know, but if it's a friend of mine that says, oh, I've hired this person, they did a great job, or this person, that you know, that makes me feel a little bit better.
I find people are more giving if they've had a good experience.
Right.
But if they've had a bad one, they're even giving
Even-
that as well. So
right.
I've seen it on Facebook.
Sure. So that's another way you can reach out to people, you know. And then, you know, very similar contractor fraud is also like the home improvement scams, which I guess we're kind of talking about too. And, you know, again, one of the things you never do is give anybody any money up front without a contract. And the contract that has the estimate built into it, right?
Yeah.
And you don't do it on the spot. You never do it on the spot. You always take it, say thank you, I'm going to think about it, I will get back to you.
Correct.
Right. So, you know, that's a little bit on contractor and home improvement scams. The other ones I wanted to talk about just real quickly, one of them that starting to see come around, and unfortunately this is because we've been having some issues with folks in either foreclosures or short sales, is the like mortgage assistant rescue scam, right? So this preys on vulnerable people again, and all these scams prey on vulnerable people. We know that. But this particular one will work with you because you're worried about losing your home. You can't afford to make the payments anymore. And quite truthfully, sometimes you're desperate. And the person that gives you that solution you feel good about and you move forward with.
Who doesn't want to be rescued in a situation like that? They don't want to lose their home, so.
Absolutely. And again, I mean, being Pro Home, a housing counselor at Pro Home, I mean, you hear the stories and you folks deal with these foreclosure issues and short sale issues, but you're trained to do it.
Yes.
We have a legitimate nonprofit organization. We don't even charge one-on-one counseling for something like that. So A, I would be leery of anybody that is going to charge you for that. And B, you always have to worry about the person that's going to help you in any way, and it sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
Right?
Anytime they have, they're kind of questioning it, they can always call us. We can always help them
And that's
try
a
to
good
determine.
and that's a good point too. I mean, we deal with a lot of different organizations that will help with foreclosures as we do. But I mean, you know, banks or credit counseling agencies. Some are above board, but some are not. And so that is a good point. Contacting Pro Home as your first step before you do that might be the most beneficial step.
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, the other one is reverse mortgage proceeds fraud, and that a lot of time has to do with either a member of your family, someone that you know that you feel comfortable with and close with. Reverse mortgage is the process by which I own a home, I'm over 62, I have equity in that home, and instead of selling it, what I do is I essentially get a reverse mortgage where the bank pays me to live in the house. And that's a great idea, right? It sounds great. It's not for everybody, but it sounds great. And it can be a very effective tool when you're older, especially as you're retiring. However, what you have to be very, very careful of is who you put as a legal guardian, legal agent, the person on that reverse mortgage. If it's not just you, if you're going to have a power of attorney, you have to be very careful that you trust that person. And I will go so far as to say we have seen incidences where it's a person's own family member that takes advantage of them. So they're taking money out in that reverse mortgage, but they might not be paying the person's bills, or they're taking some of it and taking it themselves. So again, you really have to be careful with something like that.
Never be too trusting.
Right, and I guess it's like a judgment call, right? I mean, you got to have a good sense of judgment, and if you don't, call someone to help you.
I really think that if you do get into a reverse mortgage, you really need to understand how that works as well.
Right.
You
Right.
just don't want to go into it thinking that you're going to not have any debt.
Right.
Because in the end, there will be.
Right, and we have a whole reverse mortgage piece that we can do, or we can talk with people one-on-one about. So again, certainly give Pro Home a call, because we don't charge for one-on-one counseling for anything, and we're a nonprofit organization. You can look us up. So it's not just we're not just out there looking to make money. So
It's also a good resource. I mean, if we can't figure it out, we might have somebody who can.
Exactly. Again, we have affiliate business partners that we work with closely, so we know we can trust them, and you can trust them. Yeah. So we're going to wrap up in a couple of minutes, but before we do, what I did want to do is talk about a couple other type of scams, and those are telephone and internet scams, right? Those are the big, especially internet
Don't we all
ones,
get
right?
them?
Don't we all get? Yeah, we do. One of the big ones that we've been hearing the last couple of years that a lot of folks know about, but some people watching the video might not know, is like the grandparent scam.
Yeah.
So that's the scary one. That's the one that a grandparent, and sometimes it's a parent, gets the call that their grandchild or their child is either in a very difficult situation or life-threatening situation. They have a lot of noise in the background so it's hard to understand what's going on, but it's your grandchild supposedly saying, something has happened to me, I need you to wire me money, or buy this gift card and throw it over here and meet me here, or whatever the case may be. And those are like big signs, like
And
big
don't
warnings.
Tell mom and dad,
Right,
because
right, yeah, big warnings.
I want them to know.
I'm in trouble, or I've been, in some cases, I've taken your child, and the kidnapping scenario, but 9.5 times out of 10, it's not true, right? There's always that 1% chance, and it always brings you to the pit of your stomach when that happens. But it's not true.
I think the first step is just to stop for a moment. And
Exactly.
Just, think, don't do anything quickly.
Let's figure this out.
Yeah.
Make them repeat information over and over again.
Ask questions. Don't feel like you can't ask.
And if it's got to do with wiring money, or buying gift cards that
Yeah.
you drop off or mail to someone, it's just not true. That's
Well,
not
in
how
some
it
instances,
works.
They're even telling people they'll meet them in person.
Right.
So that's even scarier. in my
That's even
opinion.
more dangerous. Yeah, I remember when Craigslist first came out, and we
Yeah.
were having problems with that.
Yeah.
So, so the grandparent scam, you got to be very, very careful about, and even against your best judgment, because they're trying to get you to do something very quickly, I would say do your best to either get off the phone or get on a different phone and contact the police.
They'll even say text while you're talking to the person.
Right.
If they can text.
And listen, you can text 911 now.
Yeah.
So all those ways, you've just got to reach out to somebody that can help you. That's the whole problem. Yeah.
Help them.
Yeah, so that's the grandparent one, and then of course we talk about phone. IRS is a big one.
Yeah.
IRS, no IRS agent, even if you have an issue, I'll do this. IRS, government, and police. None of them will call you and say you have an overdue ticket, that you're going to go to jail if you don't do this. IRS is not going to say you have to give us your credit card number right now. It doesn't happen. It doesn't ever happen.
They don't email you. They don't.
They don't. So that is a big warning. Don't ever give a credit card number over the phone to somebody. Nobody needs it that badly. If you really, really believe there's an issue that needs to be taken care of, you take the information and then you look it up and find out.
Yeah.
I don't even, if the number on the phone comes up and I don't know the number, I never pick it up anymore.
Yeah,
It goes
exactly.
to voicemail, it goes to an answering machine at home, and then I'll take the information and research it.
Well, they're even making it so that the numbers that are coming across the caller ID.
Right, they make it
Yeah.
look like the number, right?
Yeah.
And that's a good point. So again, in that circumstance, if you're going to pick it up, then you don't react to anybody wanting anything until you take down all the information and you say, let me call you back. Now, if they're trying to keep you on the phone and they don't want that, that's a big sign. Say, I'm sorry, but if you're not going to allow me to look at this and call you back, then I don't know what to tell you, and hang up. Just hang up, because they are persistent.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to internet, the phishing scam with the links and stuff.
Yeah.
And so like a
Don't
popular one.
click on 'em.
Yeah, one of the popular ones is like, your bank has received something, a charge, and you need to look it up. So
Amazon's is one.
Amazon too.
Amazon's been good.
Click this link. Well, what we say is you don't click the link. What you do is go right to that
that
company. So say it's like a Bank of America, and you got Bank of America. You might have Bank of America, and it says, you've received this charge. Is it fraudulent? Click this link to let us know. Instead of clicking that link, you go to Bank of America online, you sign in, or you call if you don't have an account online, or you call. And that's how you find out if there's a charge or not. Because when you click that link, it goes to another spot that will either try to get information from you, or actually throw, it'll throw like bad viruses on your computer. Never click the links. Never call the phone number that's listed on the answering machine or the voicemail. Always call direct to your particular lender, or if it's an IRS, call the IRS directly. So I know these sound like they're common sense, but when you're in a specific state of mind, that's what these scammers are hoping for, to get you.
When you
Right.
hear something like that, that can create anxiety.
Yep, they try to get you in this state of mind, and you just have to try to be as calm as you can and understand if it doesn't make sense, it probably isn't.
They
Right?
try to use frenzy and make it anxiety.
Absolutely. So, like you said a couple times, which makes a lot of sense, anytime you feel like there's a scam going on, get the information, hang up, give us a call. We have a lot of information through our financial literacy programs that talk about scams, especially on older folks. So we can let you know. And when in doubt, also contact the police department, because a lot of times the police department, you contact the non-emergency number, and they have a list of these scams. So that way, if a consumer in their city or town has this issue, they can kind of confirm it with them. So feel free to call us, call the non-emergency number. I think that's the best way to go on any of these.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for today's episode. Thanks for coming on, Terry. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And until next time, our staff at Pro Home are always available to talk with you one-on-one about a variety of housing counseling and financial literacy issues, many times at no cost to you at all. So if you would like more information on our agency, simply log on to www.prohomeinc.org or go to our Facebook page at Pro Home Inc. You can also contact the agency for further information or to make an appointment at 508-824-2514. And again, we serve the greater Taunton and all of southeastern Massachusetts area. Thanks for watching, and we hope that you will tune in again next month to Pro Home Inc.'s Housing Counselor's Corner. Have a wonderful day.